Hello and welcome back to another episode of Baseball Night. I am Tom Brown, joined as always by my brother Jack. Jack, we didn't record last week, even though we promised to be here pretty much every week, because, kids get sick and there's nothing we can
Yeah.
do about it. Some kids
Nope.
puke, some kids just run.
Off for 10 days in a row.
Yeah, so that happened, but know what else has happened? Actual baseball. Games.
Oh, yeah.
Games of
Oh,
baseball,
yeah.
which we'll start there. I am one personally to be a guy that watches the starters hit or a starting pitcher get his time in. If there's a prospect that might be coming in as a sub that didn't start, you know, maybe I'll watch them. But for the most part, I get those first three innings in and then I'm out.
Mhm.
Um, how do you view spring training games?
Well, I've watched pretty much the entirety of every game that they've played. I really like the way spring training is kind of managed with you get a good look at everybody kind of in the farm system. A lot of guys that you would not see that are probably going to play in Worcester and some even in Portland. So I like it. I like when the starters get out of there. Um, I especially because I don't want any of them to get hurt. The Red Sox already have an uphill battle. So, get them there at bats or so and get out of there. There's really only been two guys that have played in all the games, maybe three. I can't wait to talk about all three of them because I like all three of them. But yeah, it's fun. I like it. I'd like to see a couple more of the question marks go in terms of pitchers. Really, the only guy that there's been questions around that has gone so far has been Corey Kluber. Um, but yeah, none of their big name in quotes, starting pitchers have seen any action yet.
Yeah, we have seen some of the main guys get at bats this early because the World Baseball Classic, which we're going to get to later. But it has been great to see a lineup with Yoshida because he's the biggest question mark. He's such a mystery. You're seeing Devers, you're seeing Casas, who isn't even playing on a team. I don't think. I don't think he's going to the
I
World
don't think
Baseball
he's on the
Classic.
U.S. No, he's not.
But Verdugo's playing for Mexico and Duran's playing for Mexico. So you're seeing a few guys that wouldn't normally. Alex Cora has even admitted they wouldn't normally be getting at bats and playing time this early. They'd just be in the cage on backfields, getting ready, and then midway through they'd start ramping up.
Yeah, I mean, I get that too, but Jaron Duran has only taken two at bats. Like he's not getting a lot of time. Um, so he is definitely saving those guys. But yeah, like you said, a lot of it is because of the World Baseball Classic and getting guys in to go play in Florida and California. But yeah, I mean, it's more than anything, it's getting me very excited to watch baseball full time again.
Yep.
Um, just to see it out there. And there are some guys that I think are guys that are going to start the season in Worcester who you're really going to have to convince me are not as good as some of the guys they have on the roster. I know it's early in spring training and it's overreaction time for everybody, but you know, like a guy like Ryan Fitzgerald,
Mm-hmm.
who has played in all the games and has, pretty much torn the cover off the ball, uh, is probably going to start the season in Worcester. And you're gonna have to mount a pretty convincing argument to tell me that he is not as good as Bobby Dahlbeck, who will probably start in Boston.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is when you compare a guy like Fitzgerald to Dahlbeck, and it's like, why not have? We know what Dahlbeck is. It's not. I. It's not going to happen. I don't care that his first two at bats he had a double and a home run in spring training.
That's his mo. That is
That
Brian. That is Bobby Dahlbeck's mo.
like what? That's what he exactly. That's what he does, and then he comes and he faces one, two, three, and four starters and gets wiped out.
Yeah, it's curveball central, and he can't hit that.
It's So, yeah, Fitzgerald, 28 years old, just give the guy a shot
Yeah.
as a utility infielder. I don't know how much he's listed as shortstop. I don't know how much he's
Oh, that's weird.
bounced
I have him
around.
on the Red Sox page. I have him listed as a first baseman.
Oh, I'm on. Wait, Ryan Fitzgerald shortstop. That's weird. I'm on the Red Sox page too.
Hmm. But I mean,
Anyway,
on the but there's like there's a lot of competition at first or third, like with major league guys that have joined this roster that or former major league guys. Like, is he going to beat out a guy like Nico Goodrum? Probably not. Is he going to
mm,
beat out? Yeah, they have Daniel Palka, who I mean, I to be perfectly honest with you, I did not know they signed the former White Sox slugger, but he's a major league ready guy that I don't know what they don't see in Ryan Fitzgerald. All I know is that in the first 5 games of the spring, he's batting 500 and absolutely roping balls everywhere. Gets thrown out a lot trying to stretch a double into a triple, but
well, he would fit in
that's
perfectly
fine.
with the Red Sox because they. I mean, I think it was Verdugo did it in like the first or second game, and I was like, these guys just keep doing this.
Yeah.
Their their habit of running into outs is just it's staggering. It's been going on since Cora got here.
Yeah, they were able to frame it as being aggressive the first year
Sure.
he was here, but I
Yeah.
don't think it still works that way.
No, I don't
Um,
I don't either. It's you know what it is? It's utterly frustrating. It is just so annoying to watch. But yeah, I agree. With Dahlbeck in that first game, I saw all the Twitter positivity, which I am all about that in February and March. I I look at the team, I watch the games, I'm like, hey, look at these lefties. Their lefties are pretty good at a righty bat. That's not Bobby Dahlbeck. But I just don't see why you would do it with Dahlbeck again. Don't don't do it to yourselves, fans. It's not going to happen with the guy. I think the best thing is some sort of trade, even if it's a not so. You're not going to get much for him, but you can do the whole change of scenery thing and and see what happens.
yeah, no, I agree. It's just it's not good. It's not a good.
You muted yourself.
He's not major league ready, and I don't know what else he has to show for that. Yeah, I
But
know.
yeah. All right. Who else got you excited? You said there were a couple guys.
Um, the one guy that it wasn't. I didn't really know a lot about, but it was Lou Merloni who actually got me excited. Was Sedan Rafaela?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
he was in the uh, oh, one of the trades last year. Oh, the Vasquez trade, I think.
is that right?
Yeah.
He just the way Lou Merloni talked about the way he played center field gets me excited because as of right now, their starting center fielder is Adam Duvall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and he can fly. Like they need speed, they need defense, and it seems like I'm so surprised that Jaron Duran made a World Baseball Classic roster. Um, and there has been talk of him, with a new swing. And he's worked hard, but I mean, that could be a viable option in center. But I'm really with the way this Rafaela kid has been playing in the spring, like nothing jumps off the page at you, but he just looks like he's a major league center fielder, which is very exciting to me.
I just want to clean up what I said. Emmanuel Valdez was who I was thinking in the Vasquez trade. Um,
Okay.
yes.
Well, he's going to be who I talk about next.
Um, well, Merloni posted a picture of him on Twitter and said, didn't get a video, but just watch this guy take swings and he you're gonna fall in love with this guy, is what he said
Was that
about
Valdez
Rafaela.
or Rafael? Oh, Rafael. Okay. Um,
Rafaela.
yeah,
I,
yeah. I think that obviously it's the first week of spring training, and like I said earlier, tons of overreaction happening right now. But it seems like the Worcester roster is more exciting than the Boston roster, just with all the potential.
So Rafaela was he's on the 40-man roster. He's
Okay.
slated for the Woo Sox. Center field shortstop. I just yes.
A nice Kike Hernandez mold.
Carousel. So, you know, you got
There you go.
too bad he didn't have a guy from that same area to, you know, bring him up through the majors. That was a multiple time All-Star for the team, but we don't have to get into that again. Yeah, I mean, I don't see him touching the majors this year. He's 22.
No, probably not.
I one full year in Worcester, and when they fall out of it, maybe a September call up.
I was gonna
But
say it's looking pretty grim on the big league squad, so maybe.
yeah, who
I mean, all it
knows?
takes is a couple injuries.
And then
Um,
according to Sox prospects, he's their fourth rated prospect.
oh wow. Okay.
Well, they still have, Meyer is number one. Still have
Right.
Casas, and then Miguel Blaze. These names are tough to say when you don't hear them. I need to hear him on a
Yeah.
broadcast like four times, and then I'm like, okay, it's Miguel Blaze.
Marloni to say it in his weird New England accent. You'll just have it forever.
All right, and Emmanuel Valdez was the third guy.
Yeah, he was the third guy. So it, when Kevin Youkilis was a player,
Hmm.
the thing that made Uke special, I mean, Billy Bean wrote about him, or Michael Lewis wrote about him in Moneyball because Billy Bean talked about him as the Greek god of walks. When Kevin Youkilis is describing you as a guy who really knows how to look at a pitch and taking that bat, that is something that you have to notice. And then I watched Valdez take, he's had 7 at bats in the spring, which is almost the most on the team. Uh, he looks like a major league hitter. He
He
just looks that way. He's got an on base percentage of 545. Granted, it's only a week into spring training, but that's pretty damn good for a spring training guy to come out and have drop 4 walks already.
so Sox Prospects has this awesome thing on their rankings of the ETA for each player, and I'm just noticing it now, and they're saying Valdez will be up, they think mid 2023.
Yeah,
That's
he's a
definitely some
player.
contract manipulation, which is fine. I mean, it sucks for the player, obviously, but
Yeah.
that's why they're going to do it. He's a second base utility guy, and I mean, what are they missing? Everything except a third
Mm-hmm.
baseman and a first baseman, but second base looks good, or looks like a spot that he could make good, I should say. He crushed that homer in that spring training game, lefty
Yeah, real
lefty.
bomb. That was
Um,
when Uke was comparing him to Juan Soto. Not really, just
that
um.
that might be a stretch.
Well, it was. He said right before the pitch was thrown, he's like, "I'm not saying this guy is Juan Soto." um, because Juan Soto is the same age as him. I think they're both 24.
Hmm.
Um, so last year in the minors, over 126 games and 500 bats, Valdez 296, 376 on base, 28 homers, and 107 batted in. Pretty good.
So
Pretty good over here.
I remember when that trade happened, we were confused why only Vasquez was moved, all that. But a couple weeks later, you start seeing from Sox prospects and Red Sox stats on Twitter, you see clips of them, and they're like, the Red Sox may have got something here. And
Yeah.
over the second half of the season, it was it was pretty obvious that he's a good player. And just, I mean, they're saying
Well,
mid
the
2023. Let's make that May.
let's make it as soon as his contract is guaranteed to be
An extra
1 year.
year.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing too is, um, and I mean it's not just 28 home runs last year. The year before, he hit 26. in only 365 at bats.
Yeah.
So there's some serious power potential there.
And he's
Not a
not
very,
he's 5'9", 190.
I was just gonna say he's not a very big guy. But it's nice. I think him and Rafaela have had a nice opening week to the spring. Uh, and those are the kind of players I want to get excited about in the spring.
So so
Like you said earlier, and like Cora said earlier, I don't necessarily need to see Rafael Devers hit 8 home runs in the spring. Actually, if he hit 8 home runs in the spring, that would scare the shit out of me that he was going to have a very bad April.
yeah, unless you have the JD Martinez 2018 year where he hit like 12 in the spring and then just carried it over. But um these guys, this is who I'm excited to see in the starting lineup once the Red Sox starters go to the WBC. They'll probably get more at
Yeah.
bats, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for the major league pitchers that aren't going to the WBC, it'll be nice to see them have to face them as they're ramping up.
All of the Red Sox major league pitchers are not going to the WBC.
Oh, I meant for those players
Yeah.
specifically, Rafaela and Vasquez or Jesus, not Vasquez. Valdez.
Valdez.
I'm losing my mind
Yeah.
here. For those two guys to face actual major league pitchers who won't be at the WBC.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, we can just go right ahead to the next part we wanted to talk about because we're talking about these games. I love the pitch clock.
Oh my God.
So the average game so far has been roughly, if not exactly, 2 hours and 30 minutes. I mean, the prospect of a Red Sox game wrapping up at 9:30 at night, 9:40 at night. Oh my God. It's
Unbelievable. It's action packed. Baseball games seem more exciting now because they're not just holding the ball. There's a video, obviously, it was cherry picked. There's a video going around the internet right now of Pedro Baez in a playoff game taking 2.5 minutes to deliver one pitch. In contrast, there's a spring training clip of this year, a Dodgers pitcher retiring the side in 2.5 minutes with the pitch clock. Again, I know it's cherry picked, but you can watch that side by side video and realize how good for the game this actually is.
it it just doesn't make sense that it would take even 40 seconds to go through four signs on what you want to throw.
Nope.
First of all, I think you have to be a Verlander, DeGrom, God, Kershaw, that level, that
Thank
status of
you.
a pitcher to not pick the first maybe three pitches that your catcher throws down. Unless you
Yeah,
know,
seriously.
unless you know, like, okay, my slider's flat, my fastball, my velocity dipped mile an hour or two. Like, what's working for me now is a changeup. And you're like, get to the changeup. That's what I want to throw because I know the other ones aren't working. But other than that, if you're getting to like your fourth or fifth sign, the most likely that fifth sign is okay. We're just calling a fastball at a different location, so it it makes no sense why you have to go through it so much. And then batters like, well, this is taking too long. I'm going to step out. I love the idea that there's a limited amount of step offs and step outs, limited amount of pickoffs. It's just I think by the third week, everyone is going to be like, oh shit, this is great.
Yeah, I think by the end of spring training, everybody's going to do it. That like, I don't like the fact that a game ended on an automatic strike. That's probably not the best way to end a game.
I wonder
Granted, it
if
was a spring training tie, but
when that happens in the regular season, it's going to cause an uproar.
mm-hmm.
But
Even if it ends an inning with runners in scoring position, that's going to cause a problem.
yeah, I just don't know. I I'm I don't know what they'll do when it comes to just the first time it happens. I don't know if I love it, but I think you'll also get used to it. One thing I was thinking, the way it happened for the Red Sox was the batter was called out. If
Mhm.
you watch an NFL game and on fourth in the game from the 12-yard line, there's a flag. If it's a holding penalty on an offensive lineman, game over. If it's a holding penalty on the defense, you get an extra play. So I wonder if they tweak it in saying like, okay, this was on the pitcher. Well, that would like I don't know how you could tweak it because say the bases are loaded, it's called on the pitcher, you walk in the winning run. I just don't know if there's a way to make it so that you could do it like the NFL where maybe the hitter doesn't get penalized, but you also have what, fucking 20 seconds to step in the box? Just step in the box.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because then there's
exactly. That
9 more seconds.
so I saw that Miguel Cabrera got an automatic strike called on him, and his manager, I think AJ Hinch, he said, it's going to take him a while to unlearn to say hello to the umpire, say hello to the starting catcher, talk to the other dugout, talk to the opposite, talk to his own dugout, because he has that like pre at bat routine, and he's been in the majors for 20 years. But I love the fact that we're not listening to a minute long song. We have one guy with one foot in the box. Like, listen, I loved me some Nomar Garcia Parra. Did he have to adjust his gloves for 10 seconds between every at bat? No, he didn't.
Well, yes, he did,
But
but okay. We can talk. You could
but
have picked someone else.
he would have been the poster boy for this pitch clock.
That was
Him and Ortiz used to hawk a giant chewing tobacco lug in his hand before he touched his bat.
well. I mean, my guy. I love him, and I loved watching how he batted and his approach and all that. But Bogarts took forever. He would do.
Yeah, he
He
did.
underrated, adjusted everything, took his time.
Him
Had
and that was by design though, because when him and Devers, after the Mookie trade and they got a new hitting coach, the whole thing was like you need to take a step back. Like all last year, you would see Devers step out, take that giant deep breath in, and then step back into the box. Like you
yeah.
just can't do that anymore. Or you
I think
can, you just gotta be a little shallow over breath.
yeah that the JD Martinez effect because he does it too. So listen, that's we've just mentioned 5 Red Sox hitters we've seen in our life that took forever. So speed it up. I don't think I might be remembering correctly. Manny didn't need to wait. He is looking fastball in. So
No, he
I'm
would just
ready to
put the
go.
bat back on his shoulder. I saw I mean, so it's around 2.5 hours, like you said, for the game time, which is the first time since '78 it's been that low. Like, like I don't understand what happened from 1978 to last year that everybody was just like, it's okay. Everybody here has 4 hours. Everybody here has signed a social contract. Like, you got 4 hours to wait, right?
Well, I think one big change
So I'm
came in
happy.
like
I'm
20
happy. I like everything about it.
in 2016. They started there's a clock. This has been going on for like 5 or 7 years. A clock in every stadium that says you have 2 minutes in between innings to prepare for pitches. You don't take your time throwing 8 pitches. Get your however many pitches you have in 2 minutes. Um, I think it goes along with the like mental preparation for games, and I get it, but preparation is before the game. Do all your prep and then go play. I just, I don't know. A lot of that, I need my routine to get myself set is like, you could cut 5 seconds out of it.
Yeah. No, and that's the whole like I've seen a lot of arguments against it online that have said like it doesn't even feel like I'm watching baseball anymore, which is the most pretentious thing I've ever heard. Uh, but I agree with you. You don't need to take 35 seconds to stroll from the on deck circle to the batter's box, another 10 seconds to say hello to the catcher, say hello to the umpire, and then another 10 seconds to put the bat on your shoulder. Let's go, man. Fire that pitch. Let's go. We all know what we're doing here. I don't
Yep.
think it even takes away the mental aspect of it of like, what am I going to throw here next? You have enough scouting. You should know that this is what I want to set them up with and break them off with. Like,
You're sitting with your pitching coach and catcher and manager before each game saying, this is what we're going through. And then this is what the pitcher, like, this is their weakness. Don't throw low to Mike Trout.
mm-hmm.
There you go. Go out there, have a good time. Don't throw low to Mike Trout. Basically,
Yeah,
you have the full scouting report, like you said. Another rule that I think is going to be dope because I think it's going to bring steals back is the pickoffs. You're
yeah, it's
only
going to bring
allowed,
speed back into the game.
let's see, pickoffs are one version of a disengagement. So you can, after a third step off, the pitcher will be charged the box. So you can only step off or pick off twice. And then it's go time, which is awesome. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
the bases are bigger. That's another rule change. I think steals are going to be back.
You know what is, and we haven't. I know we're going to talk about it. Probably, I'm going to bring it up right now. The other rule change that I cannot wait to see, because since 1942, when Lou Boudreau shifted on Ted Williams, it has been the most ridiculous thing in baseball. I can't wait to watch absolute seeds fall for base hits now. Averages are going to go up. People who I'm trying to think of somebody who would just load one side of the infield for a guy who can't go the other way. That person is not going to be out of the major leagues in 2 years now. They can actually show what they can do. I'm so excited for that. I hated the shift. I hated it when you'd have four infielders and basically three guys playing right field against a lefty hitter. Like Jason Giambi, I never really liked him as a player, but it must have sucked for him to be like, all right, well, I can't get any hits unless I try to lift it over everybody's head. So I think it's better because then you pitch to, or guys learn to contact the ball more, and it's not just launch angle and home runs, which is basically what all hitters now are: strikeout or home run.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it in the spring a few times, like ground balls are trickling through. But at the same time, was it, I think, Kike made a nice play up the middle. I think you still can stand like right next to second base. Like the second baseman can stand right next to second base on a righty. I know that's how they play Mookie, so the shift against Mookie is going to be like the same. They
Yeah,
play him up the middle.
but that's like shifting for a double play or being a double play depth is that's a regular baseball play. I love that they took away the fact that it's like, oh, the left fielder's going to play third because we know this guy's only option to get it into left field is a bunt. Like
No, no,
that's
I know I get that. I'm saying that you're still
this,
going to see guys shifted over. Like they'll still
yeah, but
pull.
not as severe.
Yeah, I like the shift rule too. I'm saying for the defense there is still strategy. There's still
Yeah.
taking stuff
Well,
away and closing gaps.
it's also going to make defense more valuable too.
Right.
Like it's not just going to be, oh, well, we have four guys on the right side of the infield. Now it's like, no, you're the second baseman, man. That's your ball.
Yeah. That so it works out great for
Overall,
the
just wins all the way around in these rule changes. I think.
yeah. Unless you're your boy Garrett Cole, who already complained about there being a soft spot in the middle of the new bases, and he's worried about rolling his ankle on a
There's a
upcoming
soft
third.
spot on that dude's head that hasn't fully closed yet. What a baby.
Yeah, he complains about everything. And to think, and this is makes me feel good about where we are as fans. I didn't hate him when
No,
he
we.
was on the Astros.
I was just gonna say that we still hate the Yankees.
Yeah, I really didn't hate him. He beat the Yankees in the ALCS in 2019, and he gave this great post game on the field interview. I was like, wow, that was great. He like gave insightful answers and stuff, and then he went to the Yankees, and it's like now you just complain about everything.
I'm sure the insightful answers are still there, but we hear him as just like, oh, this crybaby.
Yeah. Well, I
I
can't get
loved him when he was
over.
on the Pirates, and it was completely low stakes, where you could just root for a good pitcher on a bad team.
Yeah, the you just can't get over them taking sticky stuff away and him complaining about how hard it was to grip in the wind. It wasn't the
Crying.
cold or the rain. It was wind.
Crying,
All right.
not
We'll take a
complaining.
break and then we're going to
Crying.
talk about the World Baseball Classic because it starts less than a week from when we were recording this.
Yeah, by popular demand too. This was a YouTube commenter
Yeah,
who shall remain nameless.
yes, we're going to take a break. We will not name this person. Here you go, Murph. We're talking World Baseball Classic. The World Baseball Classic starts Wednesday, March 8th with a game that I don't know if I'm going to wake up for, but I think it's Chinese
We'll
Taipei.
DVR it. We'll DVR it.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to YouTube TV where you can just click the plus sign and record all World Baseball Classic events. That's great. So I'll be doing that
Chinese
because
Taipei is not in it, so I think it's Taiwan that you're thinking of.
oh, Chinese Taipei has been in it before though. I'm just trying not to.
Well, let's get this. Let's level set here. My least
Okay.
favorite corporate term of all time. There are four pools, A through D. Pool A is Taiwan, the Netherlands, Cuba, Italy, and Panama. Pool B, Japan, South Korea, Australia, China, and the Czech Republic. Pool
Jack,
C, USA, Mexico, Colombia, Canada, Great Britain, and Pool D, Puerto Rico, Dominican, Venezuela, Israel, and Nicaragua.
wait, what is happening? Well, can you check the date on yours?
Yeah, the 2023 World Baseball Classic.
Oh, because I got Pool A, Chinese Taipei, Netherlands, Cuba, and Italy in an article written
Mine's
in.
from Baseball America, written on today, March 2nd.
Oh, you know what? I'm off by.
Out of date here, Tommy. You're off by 4 years, are you?
No, it was 2023. It was just
Well,
MLB.com
classic.
had some bad info. So let's see. Teams.
We're sorry, Murph. Call in. If we could just get Murph to call in.
Yeah. Yeah. He's gonna, you know what though? He's gonna try now. And check. Am I going crazy? I'm seeing Chinese Taipei in Pool A.
Maybe. I see Taiwan, the Netherlands, Cuba, Italy, and Panama.
Well, game one, oh geez, Tuesday, March 7th at 11 p.m. I'm sorry, I'm in bed, but I got Cuba versus the Netherlands.
Okay.
Is that what
That's
you're
good. I
seeing?
mean, yeah, I don't have the schedule in front of me. But let's take those and really, I think it's two teams from each pool advance, correct?
Yes.
So let's go. Pool A, we have Taiwan, Netherlands, Cuba, Italy, and Panama. Who do you have moving in from Pool A?
Okay. So do you have? I'm sorry. Say that again.
Taiwan, the Netherlands, Cuba, Italy, and Panama.
Okay. So MLB.com has Taiwan as Chinese Taipei, which I'm assuming that Taipei is
We're going to have to
Taiwan.
revisit the USA's one China policy before this episode goes out so we don't offend anybody. But yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, now that we have that straightened out, Cuba in the Netherlands, I would say
Yeah,
advance.
I think so. I think so there. I think nothing against Pool A. I don't know. Well, obviously, Cuba is an international powerhouse for baseball. And the Netherlands has, I guess, Aruba to pick from as well too. Um, Hence the reason why Bogarts played there. But it's I think that when you get through pools B through D is when you start seeing some serious international players here. From Pool B, we have Japan, South Korea, Australia, China, and the Czech Republic. I mean, let's face facts. Everybody's looking at Japan and South Korea to come out of that pool.
Yeah, I want to just point out there that the Netherlands infielders are Xander Bogaerts, Didi Gregorius, Jonathan Schoop, and Andrelton Simmons. So all major
Above
leaguers.
average fielders there. Yeah, and above average infielders.
Yeah, Jerickson Profar is on the team, and
Good
obviously
for Didi Gregorius still doing it.
yeah. But I agree. Japan is gonna probably dominate that. But um they did just lose
Seiya Suzuki.
Seiya Suzuki from the Cubs.
Yep.
Lars Nootbaar is playing for him. Birth
Japan?
countries. Yep. I
Yeah.
don't I don't get that, but you know,
I mean, it's your parents' birth country or something like that, or wherever your parents
yeah.
have citizenship at.
So
Or maybe
then
it's your grandparents, because I know a lot of the Italian team is American born, like Italian American guys.
mhm.
But yeah, Pool B, Japan and South Korea. I actually I don't think that China, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't think that China has ever been in a World Baseball Classic. Um,
I
they
don't
may
know.
have. I don't think they've qualified for a pool. Um, I don't know that it was a big baseball country, to tell you the God's honest truth. I just had no idea. I don't think Australia can do much. But again, there's always it's baseball, man. Somebody can get hot.
The,
Like
the US didn't make it out of pool play once.
I was just gonna say, my biggest fear is like Canada or someone gets hot and they just knock the US out of the pool, and then it's gonna make for it's still gonna be exciting, but not nearly as raucous as it could be with the US in there.
So
So all right, let's get into it, man. Pool C. Here we go. US, Colombia, Canada, Great Britain, and Mexico.
yeah, I think US and Mexico are probably the top
It's
there,
not
but
it's not gonna be Great Britain.
no. But Colombia could do something, you know.
Yeah, Colombia is good. And I'm telling you, Canada's not bad. Canada's got a good roster. We got some big names in Canada. I mean, there's Freddie Freeman, who is obviously the biggest name. Tyler O'Neill's there. I was previously wrong when I said none of the Red Sox pitchers have made a club, because Nick Pivetta is pitching for Team Canada.
He actually
Um,
dropped out
all
because
right, so I was right.
he is suffering from like long COVID and he's
Mm.
taken a long ass time to get back, so he dropped out. I would worry for Canada. I'm looking at their roster, their pitchers.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. John Axford is probably their best pitcher if it's not Nick Pivetta.
Yeah, or Cal Quantrill.
Yeah, that's the other big name there. I don't necessarily think Cal Quantrill's a big name, but
No, but it's a name I know.
yeah.
Well,
Um,
mainly you got to watch out for Tyler O'Neill's biceps.
Great arms. All arms team for sure. Shout out to the baseball group text for that.
And Larry
But yeah,
Walker
let's
is the
face
first
facts.
base coach.
Oh, nice Hall of Fame. Let's face facts here. It's a two-team pool. It's USA and Mexico.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even the Mexican team isn't like littered with. I guess Austin Barnes is a major leaguer. Rowdy Tellez, Aranda, Randy Arozarena, Jaron Duran, Alex Verdugo. It's not like overly over. It's not like the other teams we're gonna get to. So if
No.
we're doing this, let's just talk. These are the United States players that committed, which is just the best that they decided to do this. So the catchers, Kyle Higasioka, JT Realmuto, and Will Smith.
Mm.
Realmuto and Will Smith are two of the top, three catchers in baseball? Infielders, Pete Alonso, Tim Anderson, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Trey Turner, Bobby Witt Jr.
And Jeff McNeil.
What? That's
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Bobby Witt Jr. is like has been one of the top prospects since he was drafted,
and was
and
awesome
now
last year.
yeah, and now he's the worst infielder on Team USA. Like,
And then outfielders, Mookie Betts.
yeah,
I
say it.
have Jeff McNeil here because I think he's a left fielder now for the Mets.
Oh, okay.
Cedric Mullins, Kyle Schwarber, Mike fucking Trout, and Kyle Tucker.
They have the possibility, before you continue, they have the possibility for their outfield to be Trout, Mullins, and Betts, which is 3 30 players in their team on their team.
Yes, or you could sneak Kyle Schwarber in there and have a guy who just bops 40 home runs. He'll probably be the DH of this team. And
I'm
then
guessing that's probably the best spot for him.
Kyle Tucker, let's just not forget that he was one of the best hitters in baseball. And then
Yeah, sneaky too.
Miles Mikolas, Lance Lynn, Kendall Graveman. I'm cherry picking here.
Yeah,
Kendall Graveman. I just said that. Daniel Bard.
I'm
Right?
not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Their staff could be way better.
Oh, Brady Singer's good. Ryan Presley's an awesome closer. I think,
Yeah, no, I get that, but I mean, think of the guys that aren't there: Verlander, Scherzer, Degrom,
yeah,
even to a lesser extent, Mr. Glass, Chris Sale. Like there are guys, there are big name pitchers who are not here. Like the year that Stroman won the MVP, and say what you will about Marcus Stroman, he was probably with David Price the two biggest names on that team.
pitching
It
wise.
was Verlander on that team. Yeah. Was Verlander on that team?
I don't
Maybe.
think so. But
So like you get a guy like Trout in Betts and Goldschmidt, like MVPs that say, "Oh, I want to do this. I definitely want to do this." Man, where are the pitchers? Get some pitchers here, because when you go into Pool D, those dudes know one thing: I am playing for the Dominican. I am playing for Puerto Rico. I am playing for Venezuela,
yeah,
and it's just kind of a different mindset.
their batting practice pitcher is Michael Young. Their pitching coach is Andy Pettit. Their Ken Griffey Jr. is the hitting coach. Mark DeRosa is the manager, and the no fun bench coach is Brian McCann. Brian McCann's going to have trouble when he sees them playing Latin teams because he is the all-time no fun guy.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Do they use baseball's new rules in the World Baseball Classic?
I don't know. I
Interesting.
bet there's going to be a pitch clock.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that because that could play completely different and screw some people up. But anyways, on to Pool D, which will probably be the most competitive pool.
Yes. So let's just Puerto Rico again. Here's the deal. Except for the DR, which we'll get to. Well, Jose Barrios is pitching, but Alexis Diaz, Edwin Diaz. So Puerto Rico has some good pitchers. Jorge
Cue,
Lopez. But
cue the
normally
trumpets, bro.
Marcus Stroman's pitching for Puerto Rico this time. Come on. But
Okay, that's a
Christian
choice. That's a
Vasquez,
choice.
Martin Maldonado are the catchers. Infielders Javi Baez, Edwin Diaz, Kike Hernandez, Francisco Lindor. They got a couple other guys that aren't quite their caliber. Jose Miranda is someone we know. And then outfielders Henry Ramos, Eddie Rosario, Nelson Velasquez. So they drop off on their outfielders. Their manager is
Yeah, that's
Yadier
wild.
Molina. Their assistant hitting coach is Juan Gonzalez. It's a good team,
Oh
but
yeah.
Jack, this is what the people want.
Yeah,
The
I
DR
know.
staff. Sandy Alcantara. I always get those messed up. The reigning National League Cy Young
Reigning,
pitching.
defending National League Cy Young winner.
Diego Castillo,
Heat, a lot of heat
Johnny
there.
Johnny Cueto,
Okay,
Luis
Johnny still got it.
Garcia, Yimi
Yeah.
Garcia, Christian Javier off a dominant playoffs. Hector Neris, bigger names than other teams. Gregory
Yeah.
Soto.
Mm-hmm.
Catchers, Francisco Mejia and Gary Sanchez. And this is where it gets wild. This is like but the best part is that all the best USA players committed too. Willie Adames, Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Rafi Devers, Wander Franco, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Manny Machado, Ketel Marte, Jeremy Pena, and Gene Segura are their infielders.
Yikes. That's probably without Fernando Tatis too, who would probably be in there as well.
And just to top it off, their outfielders, Teoscar Hernandez, Eloy Jimenez, Julio Rodriguez, and Juan Soto.
Woof. What a lineup.
Just just give me Japan, USA, DR, and choose a fourth team in the final four right now.
Yeah.
That's what. But there's like, where do you play those infielders? Adame,
I mean,
Adamas is a shortstop, and then you have
yeah,
Franco is a shortstop.
yeah.
Machado endeavors are third baseman. So Jeremy Pena
I'm
is a shortstop.
Jeremy Payne is a shortstop. Also put on some arms this off
Yes.
season. Um, but yeah, like Cano, former MVP of this tournament, is probably gonna take the back seat to that team where you'll have Pena, um, Adamas, and Franco splitting up the middle duties. I bet you'll probably even see Devers play first, maybe. And Machado could probably play short too.
Yeah, it's going to be the one thing for them is the who sits. It was like in 2017, Paul Goldschmidt was awesome, but Eric Hosmer got a ton of time because he was hot at
Yeah,
for the World Baseball Classic. So Venezuela has some names that we know. I mean,
yeah.
Altuve, Sal Perez, Luis Araez. He won
Nash.
the batting title, but
Yeah,
I'm
Arise.
any any Henio Suarez, Miguel Rojas. I like know these names. I don't know what's going on right now. Too much coffee. Ronald Acuna and Miguel Cabrera as like he's the DH, but he's the mayor of Venezuela. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah. It's gonna
it's
be fun, man.
awesome. I'm actually going over this. Now I'm stoked. Now I want. I was saying the other day, my favorite part of it is so the games that are going to be played in Miami, the crowds are going to be lit.
Mhm.
That is like the second game in that Saturday, March 11th, 7 p.m., Dominican, Venezuela. I am all over that.
Oh yeah,
I'm,
big time.
oh my God, that's going to be so great. Just,
Yeah,
it's going to be nonstop. I'm going to hear often in these 2 weeks, you're still watching baseball. Why are you still watching baseball? What is wrong with you? It's going to be so much. It's going to be like, I don't know, Australia's got a couple good prospects here. I'm kind of liking what I see.
yeah. So yeah, when did you say it started? I have it starting on March 11th, right?
Um, oh, wait, what's going on here? I have it the 7th at 11 o'clock at night. Fox Sports 1, Cuba versus the Netherlands.
Oh, okay. I don't know why it just started. That's yeah, you're right. I don't know why the schedule started on the 11th for me. That's because everybody's playing. Cuba versus Niederlander. Yeah. So most of that is Group A or Pool A teams: Panama and Taipei, Australia, Korea, Panama, and Netherlands. Oh, they play twice in one game in one day.
Wow, really?
Um,
That's what happens when you're just like you're
yeah.
not
So
the
it looks like
USSR.
exactly. So it looks like March 11th is when C and D get into the mix. With the that's gonna be a tough game for people in England. 9 p.m. Eastern is USA's first game on Saturday, March 11th, against England.
Oh, let me feel bad for him. Not USA.
Yeah,
USA.
get the
Uh,
chance going. Man, I don't know why they're playing at 10 p.m. Eastern now. They're playing the next day on Sunday at 10 against
they're in
Mexico.
Phoenix. These games are in Phoenix for the USA. That
That
was
makes sense.
Murph did
I
point
tell you
this
what,
out.
Mexico is going to have a pretty big contingent in Phoenix.
Oh, I'm sure. I love the crowds. Come
Yeah.
on over, guys. Make it
Yeah.
hostile. Hostile in a good way though. Um, but having a kid that occasionally will just cry for no reason at 5:30 in the morning, like this morning, that China versus Japan game on Thursday, March 9th at 5 a.m. Now I'm
You're
up.
all over that. We're locked in.
I will start that game late.
All right. So I guess I did ask this trivia question in the group chat. What do you think, man? Who do you think is going to win and try to give me an MVP? I know who you want to win, and I know who you want to be the MVP.
You know who I want to be the MVP?
Mookie Betts.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's true. Oh my God. I would also love to see Trout because Trout, I feel like people are like, oh, he never wins in the playoffs. It's like, but don't forget how great he is. But if you
Yeah,
ask
no.
me right now, I would say Japan and Shohei.
Damn it. Yeah.
I mean, the team is always good. They're
Yeah.
yeah. And hey, Yoshida's playing, so I'm gonna watch those games.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. I'd love to see Devers get hot and have a showing in some meaningful baseball games too. Um, Kind of surprised Kike is not playing for Team Puerto Rico.
he is.
He is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear his name when you said it.
Oh, did I say Enrique? I
You may have.
so
Screwed me up. Yeah. So very excited all the way around. Murph, we'll take your comments off the air.
yeah. All right. Is that it, or do you have your next segment, your new segment lined up?
Yeah, I got my new segment.
Okay, so we got a new segment here. This is Jack's baby. Tim came on the Never Words with a new segment, our food lists. And Jack's backed me up when I said that just because you put chili in all different things doesn't make it versatile.
No,
It's
just because you can make white chicken chili and then beef chili, that doesn't mean it's versatile. Those are two different kinds of chili.
Yeah. So Tim again doesn't know what he's talking about. Like when he said there's chocolate and then gummy candy. That's it.
I
He
didn't just all right.
so Jack has a segment. We're gonna do it now.
Yeah. All right. So ever since Tom and I were tiny children, we have had this book in our life. We got this book in 1996. And I
I
know
also
that.
just purchased that. Jack has the original that we had as kids. I had to go on a website and purchase it
Yeah.
because I needed it.
So we got this in 1996, and I know that because the last season it covers is 1995. So our new segment here is a little bit of fun, a little bit of trivia to kind of wake us up here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to read the award winners from a certain season, throw out some stats and some notables. If needed, I will read the World Series winner of that season. And based on that information, Tom is going to try to guess which season I am talking about. Tom also has the book, so we will switch off here. It's just loaded with stuff. I fully recommend it. Tom bought his for $15.
No, five.
Again, it only $5. Sorry, it only goes to 1995 with the strike year, but man, was this book a lot of fun when we were kids. Okay, so for our first edition of Guess the Season, are you ready, Tom?
Yep.
The AL MVP of this season was Yogi Berra.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
The NL MVP for this season was one Willie Mays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, this is going to be a little difficult because this year was before the first Cy Young Award was handed out. However, I do have some more hints just because in this book, they give you a nice blurb of the season's best and they tell you the stat leaders. So let's do that. Larry Doby led the majors in home runs with 32. Willie Mays led the NL in batting with 345. Cleveland's Bobby Avila is awarded the AL batting title at 341, 4 points less than Ted Williams, who returned from the Korean War and hit 345, but was not awarded the title because he had less than 400 at bats.
Is it 1954?
Wow, 1-for-1 in the game. Nice job, Tommy. It was my Korean War hint.
Well, I did just finish a book on the Korean War, The Coldest Winter, David Halberstam. But um, the reason I feel like I knew this was not too long ago, actually a couple months now. There's a Willie Mays documentary on HBO, and I remember that him and Ted Williams both were in that weird like they
Yep.
should have won more MVPs than they did.
Yeah, Willie Mays had just returned. It was Willie Mays' first season back after 2 years in the Army.
Yeah, and it was like his first real year because he had like a rookie year in 51, 52 and 53 in the Army, and then he came back and was just like,
Also, the year
I'm back.
the Giants won the World Series, and this was the year of the catch.
Yes, and they beat. Hold on, don't tell me. They 1954. Was it? I
I'll
mean,
give
it
you a
had to.
hint.
It was probably the Yankees.
Three of this team's pitchers were 1, 3, and 4 in ERA.
No, that doesn't help.
The former Indians.
Shit. I knew that because you said that. Once you said the Indians thing, I was like, I mean, now Guardians. I guess we should just retroactively call them the Guardians.
That's fine.
The Guardians pitcher or batter stat. I was like, well, I feel like if they're throwing that out there, then the Guardians had a good season. All right, so I'm 1 for 1.
Yep, you're 1 for 1. Great job. If I could just go through some of this interesting stuff here. Ted Kluszewski set a 20th century NL record when he scored 1 run in at least 1 run in 17 consecutive games. He also led the NL in homers and RBIs, 49 and 141. Big year for Teddy.
49.
The sacrifice fly rule is reinstated in 1954.
Oh, that takes, it's funny. You think of that. How much, this goes back to the rules thing and all that. How much batting averages were affected if you didn't have a sac fly?
Yep.
Ted Williams probably would have hit 700.
The exact number is he would have hit 419 if sacrifice flies did not count against your batting average in 1941.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That was the address we grew up on.
Yeah, that's why I remembered it.
Okay, so that's a great way to end this. Jack, I will talk to you next week where we'll have not much World Baseball Classic action, but more Red Sox stuff.
We'll have more Red Sox stuff. We have yet to talk really about the MLB and the players in the MLB outside of rule changes, but we promise we have that. And we also have this new trivia game that is sweeping the nation.
That's true.